first reporter from the Group 2. In this presentation, we will going to learn andragogy, the theory of adult learning. So before we proceed to the discussion, let's watch this video to have an overview about this topic.
Andragogy Adult Learning Theory. Andragogy refers to the methods and principles used in adult education. Andragogy was developed by a man named Malcolm Knowles in 1968. His goal was to help adult learners. He popularized the concept of 6 leading strategies for adults: orientation, readiness, motivation, self-concept, experience, and the need to know. Adult learners possess the orientation to learn. Whatever is learned must be tied to their current life situation. They are not interested in anything content-based. Adult learners possess readiness or willingness to learn. This goes back to making the connection or solving life problems so they can better fulfill their roles at work, home, or even at church. Because of these roles, they are more driven. This brings intrinsic motivation. Adults want to grow. They want to increase their self-esteem and confidence. Even though adults are not extrinsically motivated, learning can lead to job satisfaction, better performance on the job, promotions, and raises. Adult learners also possess self-concept, which gives them the ability to self-manage or to be self-directed. Adults can be given content which they can maneuver through independently. When concepts are unclear, adults seek clarity on their own. With self-concept, adult learners have experiences they draw on to make connections. However, these experiences can also bring bias or a narrow mindset. Those biases sometimes have to be unlearned. Adults also brings diversity to the learning experience. Adult learners also have the need to know. They want to know how what they are learning will benefit them. They ask questions like, will it help them achieve their life goals? Which ties back to being proficient in the roles they play. Adults learn best when the time is right, when learning is experiential, when they can learn in the way that suits them, and when the process is positive and encouraging. With these conditions, growth and success are inevitable for adult learners.
Since andragogy is all about the method and principles of teaching adults, there are great teachers mentioned in research history who developed their experience in teaching adults, and there was andragogy. Number 1 is we have Confucius and Lao Tzu of China, Hebrew prophets and Jesus in biblical times, Aristotle, Socrates and Plato in ancient Greece, and Cicero, Evelyd and Quintilan in ancient Rome. The Chinese and Hebrews invented the case method. Case method is about developing a complete understanding of a process, situation, or an event. So in case method, it helps the learners to analyze or to dig deeper about what they want to learn or what they need to learn about a certain situation or a certain event. On the other hand, the Greeks invented the Socratic dialogue, and it was the oldest method of teaching, yet the most effective. So Socratic dialogue is providing questions or asking the learner to develop their problem-solving skills. Under andragogy, the adult theory of learning, there are 2 streams of inquiry. Number 1 is the scientific stream of inquiry. It is a systematic process of discovering facts and information. In andragogy, it is important to make the learners to be resourceful about information. Using this stream of inquiry, they will able to develop their critical thinking. So the second stream of inquiry was the artistic stream of inquiry. Artistic stream of inquiry is a stream of inquiry that aims to discover new knowledge through understanding. The learners will help discover new facts through their experience. So these 2 are essentials in learning or in the learners of adult, because it will develop not only the intellectual skills of the learners, but also it will give the meaning of their experience. So there is stream of inquiry, and it was launched by Edward C. Lindsman, The Meaning of Adult Education, in 1926. The meaning of adult education uses intuition and analysis of experience to discover new information. Pioneering theorist Lindman laid the foundation of systematic theory of adult education and identified the key assumption about learners. This includes the following concept. First, adults are motivated to learn as they experience need and interest that their learning will satisfy. Number 2, adults' orientation to learn is life-centered. Number 3, experience is the richest resource of adults' learning. Number 4, adults have a deep need to be self-directing. And the last one is, individual differences among people increase with age. With the help of andragogy, adults will find the relevance and task-oriented and problem-solving learning that will relate into their real life situation. So our next topic is about the contribution from the social sciences.
Hello guys, good morning. I'm going to report the contributions from the social sciences. First was the clinical psychology, and this is the most important contribution to learning theory. Came from the discipline of psychotherapy. First we have Sigmund Freud identified the influence of subconscious mind on behavior. His major contribution was in identifying the influence of subconscious mind on behavior. His concepts were such as anxiety, repression, fixation, regression, aggression, and defense mechanism, projection, and transference. So, the behaviorist, in his emphasis on the animalistic nature of human, but he saw the human forces, goals, purposes, conscious and unconscious drive, and environmental influences. In this concept, more in keeping the organismic model. Next is, we have Carl Jung. Introduced the notion that human consciousness possesses 4 functions: the sensation, thought, emotion, and intuition. Next, we have the Erik Erikson. He provided the 8 ages of man, like sensory, oral sensory, muscular, anal, locomotion or genital, latency, puberty, adolescence, young adulthood, and the final stage. That was the 8 ages of man by Erik Erikson. Next is, we have Abraham Maslow. Abraham Maslow emphasized the role of safety. Next is the last is the Carl Roger. He conceptualized a student-centered approach to education based on the 5 basic hypotheses. So, first basic hypothesis was, we cannot teach another person directly. We can only facilitate his learning. Next is, the person learns significantly only to those things which he perceives as being involved in the maintenance or enhancement of the structure of self. Next is experience which, if assimilated, would involve a change in the organization of self, tends to be resisted to denial or distortion of symbolization. The last is the educational situation that most effectively promotes significant learning is the one which threat to self of the learning is reduced to a minimum or differentiated perception of the field is facilitated. The structure and organization of self appear to become more rigid under threat and to relax its boundaries when completely free from threat. So that's all. Thank you.
We will discuss about developmental psychology under the contributions of social sciences. The developmental psychology is a study of how, why, and why human beings change over the course of their life. It is originally a study about infants, but it expanded to and it studied the entire lifespan of a human. In developmental psychology, there are three major issues: the nature and nurture. It is how does our genetic inheritance or our nurture interact with our experiences or our nurture to influence our development. The second one is continuity in stages. What parts of development are gradual and continuous, like it's like riding escalator. The third and the last one is stability and change, which of our traits persist through life. That's all. Thing.
Topic for today is about sociology and social psychology. Sociology is the study of social life, social change, and social causes and consequences of human behavior. It is mostly concerned with the public schooling systems of modern industrial societies, including the expansion of higher, further, adult, and continuing education. Educational sociology plays an important part in teaching process. It helps to build strong relationship between teacher or professor and the learners. Social psychology is the scientific study of the way individuals think, feel, and behave in social situations. The focus of social psychology is the study of human behavior in social situations, including how people perceive, interact, influence, and learn. The disciplines of sociology and social psychology have contributed a great deal of new knowledge about the behavior of groups and larger social systems, including the forces that facilitate or inhibit learning and change. Now let's go to philosophy. Philosophy is the study of the fundamental nature of knowledge, reality, and existence, especially when considered as an academic discipline. The main function of philosophy of education is the statement or set of statements that identifies and clarifies the beliefs, values, and understandings of an individual or group with respect to education. The main function of philosophy of education is to provide the educational planners, and it has an important role to play in preparing for a career in teaching. There are 7 philosophies of education. These include essentialism, perennialism, progressivism, social reconstructionism, existentialism, behaviorism, constructivism, conservatism, and humanism. The essentialism and perennialism are the teacher-centered of philosophies of education, while the progressivism, humanism, and constructivism are the student-centered of philosophies of education. Progressivism focuses on developing the student's moral compass, while the humanism is about fostering each student to his or her fullest potential, and the constructivism focuses on using education to shape a student's worldview. Now let's go to reconstructionism and behaviorism. These are the social-centered philosophies of education. Reconstructionism is the perspective that education is the means to solve social problems, and the behaviorism focuses on cultivating behaviors that are beneficial to society. That's all.